Today we are going to be creating a collage out of our still life. Collage is when I mix different things on top of one paper. So I created these pots and now I'm going to put plants inside of them, and I've edited the paper to make them look like plants, and then I put it all together, which is a collage. Hello artists! Last week we created the pots for our cacti. Today what we're going to do is we're going to make those cacti. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of examples of the cacti, and let me show you the example of the cacti that I made. So I have what's called a paddle cacti, and I actually have this plant at home. It grows really fast. I have this plant at home as well. I'm going to bring in to show you. As well, I don't have this one, but I'm kind of tempted to go get one now. So I can show you a good example of that one as well. So let's get started. We are going to put these beautiful to the side. We're going to put them to the side because we're going to create on these green pieces of paper. Now, if you decide that you really like one of them and you want to repeat that one for all of them, that's completely up to you. Or you can follow along with the ones that I do. I'm going to start with the really super light colored green. And I'm going to use a marker for this. I suggest you use a pencil to start. I'm waiting for all my students to get ready, and give me a thumb up when you are ready. Alright, so I'm going to take off the cap and turn it around. And I'm going to start by making a really big, almost like a upside down U. So I'm going to go all the way up and all the way down. Now before you start, leave a little bit of room because we're going to make a little one that goes right here. So then I can build off of this one. You can make more of these if you want to around, but I'm just going to make one. Now inside of these are going to be curved lines that go down on each side. So I'm going to start up here, make a curved line that goes all the way down, and this side a curved line that goes all the way down, and the same to the other one. Next, they have little hairs on them, so I'm just going to make some short diagonal lines, kind of lining all of those curved lines that I just did. So I want you to work on that now, is those short diagonal lines. And then there's a little flower at the top, so I can make some bumpy lines for this little flower. Sometimes that's how the next one grows, is it grows from a flower. It's pretty cool. And then I can close the cap of that marker, or you can trace it if you need to trace it in pencil now. I'm going to go ahead and grab my yellow and my green marker. And to finish this plant, I'm just going to trace all the lines. So next to that black line, I'm going to make a green line. I'm going to do the same to the top. And I'm going to do the same with my yellow, but it's going to be on the other side. So what other side I didn't make green, I'm going to make yellow. This shows that, or you can actually do it next to the green line too. This shows that it has a curve to it, and it has multiple colors. It's really hard to see on the projector, but you can see it on your paper. This one is, I think, my most favorite cactus to make. So if you want to make this one over and over again and just make them look different, that's up to you. It's your artwork, your design. And again, if you are at home, you can draw this in your sketchbook and then put it together on another piece of paper. So now it's time to cut it out. So I'm gonna cut this one out. All right, so there's one, and when I have some scrap paper, I can leave it on the table and throw it out later. So I'm gonna pause this here and wait for my students who are done, and you can kind of decide which one of these fits nicely with it while you're waiting. Oh, I like the pink one, looks good with it. I think the other one I have it with purple. That's cool too, actually. Kind of like that. So you can decide which one goes with which, because when you're drawing your plant, you don't want your plant to be bigger than the pot, right? You want it to be about the same size. So this one will probably be the skinnier one for me. And then this one could be my paddle plant. All right, so now moving on to the next one, I'm going to use the medium green, not the dark green. I'm gonna use the medium green color. And now I'm gonna draw the paddle plant. And the paddle plant is it's a shape, and the shape repeats, and it does build off of it. So I'm gonna start with a big rainbow line, but I don't want it to be too big. So I make a rainbow line and stop. And remember, these shapes are organic shapes, just like the blob that we've done in the past. They are organic shapes, so they don't have to be perfect. And then this builds off of that shape right there and just kind of grows on the top. And then it's so funny because they keep growing. Like, they keep growing on top of each other. It's the silliest, it's the funniest thing. I'm going to make some more that are kind of next to it, because when I cut them out, I wanna kind of cheat, and I don't wanna be crazy trying to cut everything. So I'm just gonna make sure when it's time to cut, I have some easy cuts to make. Just make it easy on yourself. Looks funny, but honestly, the plant looks like that. All right, so now when I'm done with that fun organic shape, I am going to get the color pink, or you can use red if you don't have pink. I'm actually gonna use red. And this plant has lines on them that are vertical lines that repeat. So we're gonna do that before we cut out the plant. And I'm gonna do that to all of them. So this is creating some texture. We actually have a lot of nice texture in our artwork today. Yeah, it looks fuzzy. It is a fuzzy plant. I have some really interesting cacti. I'll have to bring them in and show you guys. Cacti are cool because they're really easy to maintain. Now it's time to cut it out. So we're going to cut on our black line and try our best to cut out all of our plants. Alright, he looks really good. And let's make sure he fits nice. Looks really good with that potted plant too. Alright, so I've got 2 really awesome plants ready to go. Oh, I love this project. It's so fun. Okay, so next I'm going to do one more. And this guy is going to be really skinny. He's going to be a skinny guy. Skinny tall. And he's got a little flower at the top that we are going to make. And we're going to use a yellow piece of paper. And then we'll color the yellow piece of paper in. If you wanted a different color, I might have some other colors. You never know. Alright, so I'm going to start with my black marker again, and I will pause the video if I'm going way too fast. Alright, there's my black marker. So starting at the bottom, I'm going to make a zigzag line. Remember, he's skinny because I want him to fit inside of, I have to make sure that it's fitting in the potted plant that I made, so. And then do zigzag on the other side. Yes, this is a real plant. Yes, I will take pictures of my plants and show my students at home my plants. Okay, so then we'll do a zigzag in the middle. So I have 3 zigzag lines. If you needed to make yours bigger and you wanted more zigzags, go for it. I can kind of end this at a point if I want to, because I'm going to put a flower on the top. And you can do little, it has little lines if you want to make little lines on it. This one does have some lines on it. I will go slow with my cutting because cutting the zigzags not going to be the easiest. It's probably going to be a little bit hard. So first I'm going to cut this one out, and then we'll do the flower. I'm gonna cut mine extra slow because we know I can cut really fast, and I don't wanna rush the process. Actually, this probably will come out really nice because I'm cutting it nice and slow. Again, if you're at home, you're gonna have to probably take the extra step to color yours in if you don't have construction paper. Remember to always keep the scissor away from you. Oh my goodness. Always keep the scissor away from you as you're cutting. I do have some fun extra shapes. If you want to keep some of this for the background of your lesson, you may do some really fun other stuff in the background. Good. Okay, so there's my plant. Not looking too much like a plant yet. Still have to make the flower that goes on the top. I'm going to use my red and my pink for this one if you have a yellow paper. And the same thing, we're going to have a zigzag, but this time the zigzag's going to go around in a circle. Excuse me. So then in the middle, the zigzag is going to also be in the middle, just like the plant itself. So this one actually, it doesn't look right if I look on my plant and look at that. So I might have to actually make this plant kind of come in a circle, and that will look much better. So the zigzag goes all the way around, and then the zigzag is zigzagged in the middle. And it's not perfect. I even made mine a little messy to show you that it's not going to be perfect. And then I can color inside that. I'm going to color with the pink. And it helps to make the pink look really bright with the yellow paper, actually. I'm really liking it. Okay, now I'm gonna cut it out. And I will go in extra slow motion for those that need to catch up. Not mustard, ketchup. All I'm doing is moving my paper back and forth. I'm not even gonna move my scissor. Not even moving, well, I have to open my scissor up eventually, but not even moving my scissor. I'm moving the paper. That's the hack. Okay. There's my little cute little flower at the top of my succulent. So now that he is ready to go, I have all 3 of my plants done. I'm gonna pause the video for any of my students that may be behind, and then I'm gonna show you guys how we're going to glue it down onto our paper. Wow, these look awesome. They look so cool. Okay, we are back. I'm using a lighter color for this one. I might have some other options of different colors depending on what I have, but I'm gonna see what it looks like with the lighter blue too, and you can decide which one you like. So now that I have my paper, I'm gonna put all of my plants on my paper how I want them to go. And if you do have construction paper, you can maybe make some kind of like pattern in the background if you want to. I kind of really like it plain because it's really, we have a lot of patterns going on, and the background, just the plain, it's very soothing. Very soothing. You could make a line to make a table if you would like. So maybe we'll do that before we move on and we glue them down. So I can get my brown. And I'm gonna make it so that there's a table because we are making a still life. And a still life is when you have different like plants or things that sit on a table. So I'm gonna make a straight line going across so my plants can sit on their table. And then I can maybe make some knots, like some wood, make it look like wood. So I can make some straight lines, some big curvy lines, to make it look like it's wood. It's a wooden table. Maybe your table's different. Maybe you have like a blanket on your table. Maybe you have some kind of other stuff on your table. And you should have a crayon. Looking for a brown crayon. There we go. And then you can color on top with a brown crayon. And now look, I have a wooden table. This is why we broke this lesson up into 2, so that my students at home could catch up and my students at school could catch up, because we want to do this together. We don't want to leave anybody behind. And if you made more, an extra, you can make more than one picture if you want to make more than one picture. Maybe you want to give one away and you want to keep one for yourself. With crayon, I really like to make some of my lines darker in some areas, like in some of these knots. I can kind of get really creative with it. Probably gonna end up using a lot of this brown crayon. If you're feeling fancy with your table, you can add some other colors in there because sometimes wood is lighter in some colors and has some, or it has some like red. I'm just throwing some orange in there to kind of get rid of that blue background. Alright, so now it's officially a still life because it's sitting on a table. Alright, now I'm going to glue these bad boys down. Now, some of my pots, maybe they're higher. I don't want them to sit. Obviously, I don't want them to sit because they're really going to pop off the page. I want them to be kind of in the middle. Alright, they don't want to look like they're about to fall. That looks like it's about to fall off the table. I'm going to bring it down. And I'm gonna position the plants first because I have to glue the plants down and then I'm gonna glue the little planters on top of them. So once I know where I want them to go, that rhymed, I'm going to take these little planters away. I'm going to get my glue that disappeared. To make sure it's breathing. It is breathing. I'm going to flip over, I'm going to check that one again. I'm going to flip over all of my succulent plants. And actually, yeah, it's fine. I can have it in those order. If you just decide what order you want them in, I'm going to nut a lot. All of my glue. I'm gonna flip it over. Make sure, double check to make sure that's where I want it. And then I can flatten it down. And this one, I'm not gonna glue all on the back because I don't want glue to stick out from behind. So I'm just gonna glue just a couple of dots. And then I'm gonna glue that down. And if you're feeling impatient and you wanna glue the pot planter like I'm feeling very impatient, I really want to know what this looks like. Dot, dot, not a lot. All your glue. Make sure you get all the corners. Especially if you're going to give it to somebody, you definitely want to glue the right way. And you don't want glue sticking out. So I know I did a really good job gluing if my glue's not sticking out of the side. And I'm going to double check some of those so they don't come off. Alright, then I move on to the next one. And again, I don't want to glue up here. I can kind of judge it and see if this is where I want it glued. If I flip this over, anything that's above this line, I'm not going to glue. Then I'm going to work on the last one. And I want to check this one because this one's a big one. It might have to go off the page a little bit, or maybe one of these is dry. I could scoot it over a little bit. Definitely try to plan it out before you glue. because we don't want to have to rip that off the page because you made a mistake. And then our last one. I want to get those corners. Make sure you get all the corners so they don't stick up. And I could have probably fixed that one, but sometimes succulent plants grow in some weird ways. So it looks natural. All right, looks really good. I could add some patterns to the background if I want to, maybe some cloud swirly lines or whatever else you want. I like the way it looks. It is wet, so it needs to go on the drying rack. I may hang some up. Unless you fight me for it. But other than that, we are done with today's lesson. Great job. Again, if you made some extra plants there, you can make another one of these. You can make a smaller version if you want to. I have some smaller paper. This is a really big paper. Make sure you clean up all your markers when you are done. Great job today, and I cannot wait to see how they come out.